So please tell me who you are and your background and why you're here at the conference.
My name is Joachim Lindborg, and the background I have is that I'm working with energy efficiency and connecting a lot of sensor devices to do energy measurements, because if you do an energy efficiency, you need to know where you're going, how you're measuring things, to verify that you're actually doing better energy performance. And that have brought us to Internet of Things and connected devices, and to get those cheap, you need to be more or less conformative on the same protocol layer to get the good, cheap devices.
Right.
And that brought us to IP and IPv6. Well, I would say that things connected has driven being able to use IPv and IPv4 for it, which has driven the easeability. You can go now and buy a Raspberry for almost nothing, connect it to IP, and it will do marvelous things for you. And IPv6 will be able to drive smaller and smaller devices, because when you do small devices, you cannot manage all the IPv4 problematic with the networks. You need easy addresses and so on. And for example, if you are in a home, you have 256 addresses, 250 with the gateway and so on, and suddenly you would have an alarm system with 5 smoke detectors, Windows controllers, and some shades, and 50 addresses is nothing.
Right.
So being home, doing network topology problems with IPv4, routing data from your printer to your mobile phone, or getting a picture from the TV to the printer, I mean,
it's crazy.
Nobody would do that.
Yeah. But will people actually implement IPv6 though?
I think implementing IPv6 towards the products is getting, I mean, the industry would like that. And they would then push the routers that you put in your home, not just to be a Wi-Fi easy network with 250, they will get the IPv6 down the chain into the home as well. I don't know if there's an IPv6 available TV yet.
I don't know, actually.
That would be interesting to see. When does that arrive?
But what do you think would be the killer app for Internet of Things, IP-based Internet of Things? Do you think there's a killer app, or?
Yeah, I actually think that if you look for smart homes today, you sort of go to your smart home shop or whatever, and you need to look at Zigbee devices, or C-Wave devices, or X10, as we had it before. And as long as you keep inside that silo, you're able to buy things, and they would interconnect, and you could just put them online and get them to work together. And as soon as IPv6 makes that possible to other devices, so it's easy for device manufacturers to put them in their device and being able to sell them off the shelf without ready-made services.
Right.
I mean, you have had smart theater, home theater technology for ages, and it'd be very expensive. But as soon as you could be leveraging it to a technology where service device manufacturers can do them without needing to do the actual business model all the way up to the service. And other can take care in doing the actual service application. Then you have the killer app. Then people will produce their devices with IP instead of a proprietary technology.
No, I guess the analogy maybe is similar to when I used to have my very sophisticated Nokia phone. The only things I could do on my very sophisticated Nokia phones were apps, and they didn't even call them apps at that time, were functions that Nokia developed, because it was a closed environment, and so it was a silo. So do you think that's an analogy that you could use? Because once they started opening it up, and apps were now available, well, we know where Nokia is today.
Yeah, I truly think so, yes. And because then you could do sharing of data between different devices that would create a whole new service that the actual silo would never find. Right. Getting your Google Calendar to turn off the lamps in your living room.
Yeah, right.
Or when you go away from home, you turn on your alarm, and the hot boiler isn't doing any hot water anymore. And
well, yeah,
it's very interesting to go between those areas of trust and so on. So when you go out for running with your Fitbit and you're leaving the house, forgetting the alarm, it would perhaps put up the phone, well, you're not home anymore. Do you want to turn the alarm on? And that's not a technology provider solution. That's a third party.
They can't cover all those different.
No, they can't cover it all. So I think the killer is that we can move data on the physical layers with IP, which makes it easy, cheap devices. But then on the application layer, moving the data in an application environment would bring us totally new areas where it will be cheap and easy to interconnect new services. And I think IPv6 is that transport layer capability of doing that and bridging for not having silos such as ZigBee and Z-Wave. There are silos. They are open inside their environment.
Still, they are though.
Yeah.
So, as the last question, there's a network engineer that's watching this video, and he is going to be starting an Internet of Things kind of project. What would be your advice to him with regard to IPv6?
Well, I think first it's very interesting that he actually considering to put IPv6 on the thing. That's very interesting. And looking now at ARM buying in technology for IP on small processors would make him be able to use open source software and open technologies. So looking around for IPv6 stacks connected to processors, devices, instead of going to an alliance that's sort of pushing for a technology ready-made. And doing it now, it is a bit of a gray land. There's not really certified products and so on. But I think it's a very good way of at least being parallel in discussion when doing it. And if you are a slightly larger device, go for IP.
Go for IP. All right. Well, thank you, Joachim. I appreciate the interview and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you very much.